Excuse me, Dr. Drew, Dr. Drew. Excuse me, Dr. Drew. I hope I didn't catch you at an inopportune time. Is it okay? Is this the wrong time, or is it okay that your secretary had let me in, and she was aware that, or she told me that you were aware that you're going to be interviewed today concerning being chosen for Black History Month as one of our top celebrities. If I could ask you a few questions in that, and I promise you that it won't be long.
Sure.
And again, how are you doing, Dr. Drew?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. And Dr. Drew, what inspired you to get into medicine?
My sister dying and George Washington Carver and Frederick Douglass.
Oh, they were your inspirations?
Yes, they were my heroes.
And Dr. Drew, when were you born, sir?
I was born on June 3rd.
June 3rd, in what year, sir?
1904.
And Dr. Drew, what city were you born in?
I was born in Washington, D.C.
And what type of neighborhood did you live in, Dr. Drew?
I lived in a segregated neighborhood. That means when white people live on one side and black people live on another.
And that must have been, at times, it must have been a sad neighborhood to live in. Is that true?
Yes.
Dr. Drew, did you have any siblings?
Yes.
And how many siblings did you have, Dr. Drew?
I had 4.
4? How many sisters, how many brothers?
I had 3 sisters and 1 brother.
And your mom and dad, I expect they lived together. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And was it a happy household, would you say?
Yes, happy household.
And Dr. Drew, did your father work?
Yes.
What type of work did your father do, sir?
He was a carpet layer.
And your mother?
She was a school teacher.
And I was heard that she was the one that kind of pushed you and inspired you as far as in your studies. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Is there anything that she said that kind of reminded you of when you thought of when you did your schooling? What things did she say that helped you persevere?
Read and do work.
Read and do work. Okay, Dr. Drew. What school did you attend? What high school did you attend, Dr. Drew?
Dunbar High School.
And that's located, I guess, in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
And Dr. Drew, there's a very notorious university there called Howard University. Did you attend Howard University?
No.
And why didn't you attend Howard University, sir?
That's because when I went there, I didn't get in.
And what school did you apply to afterwards and were accepted to?
McGill University in Canada.
And did you enjoy your stay there?
Yes.
Well, Dr. Drew, I'd like to talk a little bit about your scientific discoveries, if it's okay with you.
Yes, it's okay.
And I've heard you developed a process in which you can preserve the length of the blood supply?
Yes, I was going to fractionate some blood anyway. The process is called fractionation. Fractionation is when you split whole blood. Whole blood doesn't really look like this. But if I shake that up, that's what whole blood looks like. Whole blood is made out of 2 parts called plasma and red blood cells. And using this process, I may split those 2 parts into these 2 different bags. And I have an example right here of some after they
Oh, if you could come a little closer, sir. Oh, so the red is the red blood cells, and
yes.
the yellow is the plasma. Can you turn it around so the youngsters and all of us can? Wow, that's beautiful. And you said you're going to start the process right now?
Yes.
Okay, can you do that so we can actually see the process while I have a few more questions to ask you?
Yes.
And what are you doing, Dr. Drew? What did you just do?
I just unclamped to one of them, and then whichever one I clamped, that's the bag that it's going to flow in.
And what's going to flow in? The plasma, Dr.
No,
Drew?
first is the red blood cells, because the red blood cells sunk to the bottom, and the plasma is lost because it went up to the top.
Okay, Dr. Drew. And how long can we preserve red blood cells, and how long can we preserve the plasma?
If you refrigerate red blood cells, it can last up to 30 days. If you freeze plasma, it can last up to a year.
Up to a year? And Doctor, what inspired you to develop this process?
Well, during World War II, Columbia University asked me to develop a process to help the soldiers because every time they needed blood, it was spoiled.
And Dr. Drew, it looks like the red blood cells is almost out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, what do you do with the process, sir?
At that point, I'll clip that, and then I'll unclip this, and then the plasma will run down.
Okay, you can go ahead and do that, Dr. Drew, and I'll ask you just a few more questions if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
Dr. Drew, I've heard you were a CEO or the president of the American Red Cross. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I heard that you opened up blood banks all over the country in order to help supply the soldiers that were in need during World War II. Is that correct?
Yes.
But unfortunately, during that time, what I've read, or I believe, but I'm glad that I'm interviewing you now because I can hear it from directly from you, that you resigned. Is that true, sir?
Yes, I resigned.
And why did you resign, sir?
That's because they were segregating blood. It doesn't make sense if they were segregating blood because they're the same blood, and white people's blood can't be in black people, and black people's blood can't be in white people. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, sir. No, it doesn't make sense. And Dr. Drew, what do you suggest? What had you suggested to the American Red Cross that they should do? What?
They should stop segregating blood because it doesn't make sense.
And because they wouldn't, you decided to just leave, sir? Is that true?
Yes, I decided to quit.
You decided to quit. Well, Dr. Drew, you know, that is very admirable of you because I know you could have had been promoted to different positions in the organization, or you could have benefited yourself in many ways, but you decided to stand up for what was right. And we commend you on behalf of, you know, the citizens, and we just commend you and thank you, and you know, wish you much success in your future endeavors. And you're now going to where, Dr. Drew?
I'm going to a presentation.
You're going to another presentation. Whoa, Dr. Drew, you're very, very busy. Well, we hope, again, we wish you much success, and we hope that you will drive safely.
I will.
All right, take care, sir.
Bye.
Thank you so much for having this interview.
You're welcome.